Hunting for a cufflink for the purser? Glory be! What about your mission?
Good evening. Third Officer Morrow here. Sorry, no passengers on the bridge. No passengers allowed. We aren't supposed to allow passengers on the bridge. Too quiet. A good idea. We've received reports about... Blast. My binoculars. Where the devil did I put them? I've misplaced them, damn. Sorry. My binoculars. Thank you. Borrowed them from Fleet earlier tonight. He's up in the crow's nest. Hope he has another pair with him. Oh, guess I left them somewhere. Thanks again. Well, I suppose it's all right. Just don't touch. Good night.
There you are, skulking as usual. My dear, I have a little favor, a tiny one. Tonight at dinner, A man I don't know was making eyes at me. Be an absolute darling and find out who he is. Look him up in the passenger list. All I know are his initials, GQC. The list's someplace. Find it. I'll wait right here. Ta! Did you get it? Get his name? You're such a tease. You don't have one at all. Try the purser's office. He'll have one. Did you get it? Get his name? No, you haven't found a passenger list. Try the purser's office. He'll have one.
Yes, can I help you? As purser, I arrange dinner reservations, rent deck chairs, the usual shipboard duties. Have you a name? If you do, I can tell you their cabin number. Let me check. Aha, Mr. George Quincy Clifford, A27. I live to serve. That's all then, is it? Good night.
Did you get it? Get his name? Clifford. Clifford. Never heard of him. You don't suppose he's rich, do you? You're an angel. And I've news for you, too. While you were gone, Andrew Conkling's been asking for you. Yes, Conkling, the steel bearer. God knows what he's been doing in Europe. Buying it, probably. Where was I? Oh, yes. Andrew Conkling asked me to pass along this. You know his wife Beatrix, the designer. Such an eye! Her clothes preserve the bust line. Couldn't be more flattering. Keeps the eye moving. Much nicer than Worth's. They're friends with Captain Smith. Smith! So handsome, so dashing. White Star's best officer, or was. He's retiring after this voyage. Couldn't be more tragic. My dear, you've blanched. Bad news? Certainly, certainly, I must... It's Mrs. Burbank! Consuelo!
Hello, I'm Conkling. Good of you to come. I trust you're finding the accommodation satisfactory? You're welcome. White Star's anxious for everyone to be as comfortable as possible, particularly on the maiden voyage. Sorry to seem mysterious. You must understand someone in my position, an investor in this ship, needs discretion. You're under no obligation, of course. I have a slight problem. You may be able to help. A servant has stolen an important business document from me, and I must recover it. A few years ago, my wife Beatrix hired a young Irish girl as maid in our London house. We treated her well. 2 weeks ago, she up and left without notice, taking a certain letter with her. I'd given up all hope of recovering it, until my wife spotted her this morning on the third-class promenade. Needless to say, I checked with the purser. She'd been scheduled to sail on the Philadelphia, but those passengers were transferred on board the Titanic because of a coal strike. Yes, you could say so. I'd prefer to employ the services of a third party. You. Government officials, friends of mine, told me a bureau agent was on board. I found you through Mrs. Cashmore, a preposterous woman, but she does have an eye for accomplishment. Look, will you help me? You will be rewarded handsomely. Her name is Shayla Hacker. She's 20 or thereabouts. I was her benefactor, one might say. Yes. This puts me in a difficult situation. This young woman, she could cause considerable damage to me, to my reputation if she goes to the newspapers. Confidential business matters. Conkling Steel provides steel for ships. This ship, for example. If the contents of the letter were publicized, our competitors would profit greatly. I've gotten word to her to meet on the poop deck. Go in my place. Tell her there'll be no trouble if she returns the letter. Afterwards, report to me in our suite, B59. Her name is Shayla Hacker. Good night.
This way? Where to? Righty, I know every nook and cranny. Take the second-class stairs. Exit at B deck. Head aft past the third-class promenade. The poop deck's at the very end of the ship. Can't miss. May I take you somewhere? At your service. Take the second-class stairs. Exit at B deck. Head aft past the third-class promenade. The poop deck's at the very end of the ship. Can't miss. Now where to? Very good then. Cheers.
What did I tell you, Shay? I knew he'd not come in person.
Hush, Jack, hush. Conklin, he did send you, didn't he?
I told you, it's a trick. I knew Conklin wouldn't come. He sent one of his cronies instead. I'm her brother. And Conklin, because of him, Shayla's had to leave everything and everyone she knows.
Jack, no.
That son of a bitch. She was his maid and all the time violating it.
Hush, Jack. I'll have no more of it. Go on, Jack, say it.
You tell Conklin we have his letter, and he'll not be seeing it till he coughs up a tidy sum, too. 5,000, do you hear? Dollars. Enough to get her started right. And if he moves a hand against us, I'll make sure the newspapers get the letter and print it. So tell Conklin. 5,000. Measured against what he has, it's a bloody bargain.
Meet us here again. At 1 tonight.
$5,000, then he'll get his damn letter. Agreed?
It's your only chance. We'll be waiting for you.
Come in. I'd hoped to meet you earlier. However, my wife and I were calling on the Astors. Madeline's pregnant. Beatrix was thrilled. We have no children. I see. It's a ransom. May I present Mrs. Conkling?
You should pitch the ungrateful girl overboard. Your clothes, French cut, quite fetching. I forgot to tell you when we first met.
Beatrix is on her way to California. She's got a new project in... Where is it, dear?
A cow town, someplace called Los Angeles. I'm doing up a little resort there. It's called the Beverly Hills Hotel. So, where is the Irish tart? Dreaming of her newfound riches?
We were just talking about that, darling.
My husband and myself extended every courtesy, showed every kindness to Shayla. We've no children. Shayla became quite dear to us. So her theft hurt us all the more for the trust we placed in her. Don't fail us. Now, excuse me. I must retire. I have a frightful headache. It was a pleasure. Good night. Andrew?
My wife felt strongly about Shayla. As I've told you, we've no children of our own. Look, you must get that letter. Don't wait until tomorrow. See if you can speak to Shayla directly, without her brother. She's in the third-class cabins forward, on F deck, number 59. Good night. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Good night. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Hunting for a cufflink for the purse. Glory be. What about your mission? Hunting for a cuff...
Please, my wife is not feeling well. Good night. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Good night. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Yes, can I help you? I can check valuables, store cargo, list passengers, etc. Have you a name? If you do, I can tell you their cabin number. She is in third class, cabin F59.
Hello, where to? Righty, I know every nook and cranny. Take my lift to D deck. Take the doors beneath the stairs. Go down one flight to E deck. You'll see the signs to Scotland. Turn right and head forward, down Scotland Road. Take the stairs down to third class. May I take you somewhere? Good night.
Jack, is that you? I'll be right out. I don't want to wake the baby. Oh. But we were meeting later. Where's Jack? Please, I don't want no trouble. I didn't know the letter was so dear. I just wanted to take something, anything that looked valuable. For the baby. It was Jack who read it. Saw it was bad for Mr. Conkling. He said the bit about selling bad steel would ruin him if it was to get out in the papers. Anyway, Jack, he says Mr. Conkling got the letter from an engineer up at the mill. Said the mill's been making bad steel. High in sulfur is what he called it. The steel's no good, and they put it in the Titanic. It'd be a scandal if it got out. That's why Mr. Conklin wants the letter back. But Jack, he says Conklin'll have to pay us to get it. $5,000. Huh, Mrs. Conklin's probably behind it. All she cares about is a fine name and pots of cash and a baby. But she won't get Eddie. No, she won't. And if she tries, I'll ruin her. Make her poor as me. My baby, Eddie. He's the only reason I stood them last month at the Conklings. I knew Mr. Conklin weren't going to leave his missus. I was only a parlour maid, but I didn't care. I was happy to have his baby. Him and Mrs. Conklin, I thought they was so kind, until I found out that Mrs. Conklin was going to steal my baby for her own. Once I had it, she would fire me and take Eddie for her. She can't have her own babies. So they used me to get one, to get Eddie. When I found out that was her plan, I left. I didn't know the letter was anything. I thought it might hold £1 or two. Oh, that's Eddie. Bye. Don't forget about our meeting. I'm sorry. My brother's not here, and good night.
Yes, can I help you? Perhaps. As purser, I'm in charge of the Titanic's passengers. Have you a name? If you do, I can tell you their cabin number. Mr. Trask is in cabin D33. I live to serve. Very good, then. Good night. Yes, can I help you? I can check valuables, store cargo, list passengers, etc. Have you a name? If you do, I can tell you their cabin number. Yes, can I help you? Mr. and Mrs. Strauss? I certainly couldn't give such information out to someone. Yes, can I help you? Wonderful. Mr. Strauss will be quite pleased that I've found his cufflink. I shall deliver it at once. I'm just sure his gratitude will be reflected most generously.
Does the purser have some keys that can get you into the cargo hold? Cargo stored somewhere beneath the forecastle deck. And hurry! I've evidence Zeitels after the painting as well.
Thanks for the help of the boss. He don't want no passengers down here. I'd be in a right big mess if he caught you sniffing around. Thanks for the help of the boss.
Evening. Where to? Righty, I know every nook and cranny. From the A deck promenade, walk forward to the bow. Take the stairs down to forward B deck. Head forward past the well deck. Your cargo room's located somewhere under the forecastle deck. May I take you somewhere? Good night. Nobody's allowed to... You've got the keys. You're a carter. Of course you can enter. Right this way. Come to visit your new automobile, have you? Can't say I blame you. She's a beauty. Gleaming like a new pen. Right this way. Mind your head, it's dark in there. You'll find your way from here. Don't blame you for seeing after your automobile. Man's got to protect his investment. You're the second passenger tonight who wanted to get in here. A young German gentleman. He came here not long before you. Only he weren't looking at no motor car. He wanted to get a painting. Got it too. Carted it off. Blooming art lovers. Well, good night. It's a right honour to help one of the carters.
Did you get the painting? Blast. Someone got there before you. If only you'd been faster. That snooty steward Smethels was looking for you. Find and kick him smartly in the shins. Here's a message for you.
Still wondering? This ship holds a strange fascination for you. Most peculiar. I have a message from a young German gentleman by the name of Haderlitz. He would like to meet you in the squash court. They've opened it for him. Highly irregular, I must say. especially for fencing. If memory serves me, there is an entrance to the squash courts on D deck. Yes, apparently he does not favor racket sports. Surely he is. The percentage of passengers demanding the courts late on a Sunday night is small. Minuscule, actually. Meanwhile, I shall inform the young German gentleman that you will meet him present.
Step lively. Where to? Righty, I know every nook and cranny. Take my lift to D deck. Leave me and turn right. You'll see the D deck cabins ahead of you. Enter. At the corridor's end, make a left. The first door to your right takes you down to the squash court. Little late for a game, aren't it? May I take you somewhere? Good night.
Thank you for coming. I do not meet so many people on the Titanic. It is a pity. I like the English. I wish I knew more of them. Now you have the opportunity of fencing with me. 3-time champion of my university. You are also an excellent athlete, yes? Colonel Seitel believes it so. The Colonel is very seldom confused about anything. You will play. If you win, perhaps I relate to you some stories. En garde. Allez. Et là. Allons-y. Et là. Allons-y. Allons-y. Et là. Allez. Ah, verdammt. Allons. Allons-y. Sehr gut. Allons. Et là. Allons-y. Et là. You are the loser. How unfortunate. The Titanic, how quickly she is moving. The engines are loud here. We are nearing the Grand Banks. The Vikings thought this part of the North Atlantic cursed. Even modern sailors call it the Devil's Hole, a place of deadly surprise. Things aren't always what they seem, yes? Like me, for example. I am German, but I am also a friend to others. Perhaps even the English. Another match? Afterwards we can tell more tales. Another match? En garde. Allons. Ah, verdammt. Allons. Touché. Allez. Touché. Allons. Sehr gut. Allons. Allez. Et là. Allons. Touché. Allez. Allons. You fence well? You do? Remember, Only one thing is certain, and the rest is lies. It is a quote from an old book I had the recent opportunity to read. But I tell you more. I am associate professor at the University of Vienna. I document the mythos, the legends of mankind. I'm on my way to New Mexico to study the Yoni Indians under Dr. van der Plaars. I am interested in what Dr. Freud calls the unconscious mind, what happens below the surface of experience. Tell me, what frightens you more, fire or ice? The ancient Aryans believed man would see 4 ages. According to them, this is now the Wolf Age, an age that ends with ice. After the Wolf Age ends, mankind shall experience a fire that will burn for 2 generations. Clearly a metaphor for a war we must all try to prevent. Yes? Why do you assume he is interested in paintings? Yes, art. That is what I meant. And you are mistaken. Colonel Seitel cares little for art, unlike his friend Herr Barbicon. I notice he likes old Vienna, for he has many pictures of the city. If the fire comes, my friends will favor the English over Germany. Another match? A pity. If you change your mind, I shall be waiting.
Did you get the painting? Blast. Someone got there before you. If only you'd been faster. That snooty steward smelled.
Mr. Hadelitz wishes to convey his appreciation for your recent match. He'd like you to have this ring, as a token of his friendship. He seemed to think that you'd know what to do with it. Confidentially, I thought the young gentleman quite brooding, even for a German.
What did our young Mr. Hadelitz want? Their partnership appears to be dissolving. Who else knows young Hadelitz? Talk to anyone who may have seen him. Hadelitz's ring. Maybe Trask can tell you more about it. I'll see if I can dig something up on him. Finally, you're on the right trail. Follow those leads.
Passengers aren't allowed on the...